Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another Music Biz update. This is the series of videos I do where I look at the UK album charts and look at the breakdown between CD and vinyl sales. In this little video, I'm just going to look at the first 6 months of 2023 from the UK perspective, looking at physical music sales. And this is for collectors. Now Spinning Magazine isn't a vinyl only channel or website, and it's not a CD only channel or website. It's multi-format, and it's for people who just love collecting music. And I know a lot of us that have, whether you're in my vintage or a lot younger, it's just something that many of us love to do. So these videos are just a little bit of insight into what's going on in the actual sales area and to see how things are going. And I can say straight away in a quick summary that physical music is doing rather well. And this is from this is a 2023 half-year market analysis growth for the UK streaming and vinyl sales as they hit double digits. And the UK recorded music consumption is up by 9.5% so far in 2023. And all of this data that I'm telling you about now is basically market figures and sales data from the official charts company and the BPI, courtesy of Music Week. So the sales of albums so far this year have been 89,755,479 for the first 6 months. And the latest Goldman Sachs Music in the Air report underlined the lower rate of UK streaming growth in recent years, because there has been an idea that streaming in the UK is levelling off. It's reaching saturation point. Anyone who's streaming now is streaming, and anyone who isn't really that interested. But I know from my own subscription and subscriber base that more and more people are using streaming to discover and try out music that they're unfamiliar with. I know many of you watch my reviews and the stuff that I talk about, or people post in the Facebook group. When you see something that you're not that sure about, or it's a new band or a new artist, you go off and stream it to see what it's like. And if you do like it, you go off to their Bandcamp page or buy it directly from another outlet. So in 2023 in the UK, streaming growth has surged into double digits again, with a half-year total for streaming equivalent albums is up by 11.3% to 79,241,000. That compares an annual growth of 8.7% to the midway point last year, so it's gone up. Now, physical sales have actually increased by 3.3%. CD sales are relatively flat, but they're stable. Now, I know in a lot of my reports I've focused on the number one album, which is very, very precise and very niche, and so obviously I can soon tell if an album has gone into number one, and it's like literally 2/3 CD sales and 1/3 vinyl, and I've obviously focused on that. So the data I'm giving you now is all album sales so far for 2023 in the UK. And Sophie Jones, who's the BPI interim CEO, has said demand for LPs is up by over 12% so far in the first 6 months, and CD sales have stabilised. The physical market is in an encouraging shape considering the economic backdrop and the challenges facing the creative sector. I think that is amazing, considering over here in the UK we've got a cost of living crisis and everything's going up left, right and centre. You know, people's mortgages are going up, everything's going up. And the fact is that people are still buying music. It's that important to them. And underlines, it says here, the importance of continuing to push for growth, supporting artists around the country so that even more artists can benefit from the growth in streaming, CD sales and vinyl. And I just want to say that again, the physical market is in encouraging shape considering what's going on. Now, the sales performance for vinyl includes another successful year because of Record Store Day. Vinyl revenue outperformed CD again for the first time last year, and it is about revenue. This is a business. So every time I talk about unit sales, obviously CDs are way ahead in many areas, but it's about revenue. It's a business, and it's about making money so artists can continue to create the music that they do, that we all love. Other positive news in the UK has been that HMV is planning now to bring back its London flagship store because of increased sales. And the strong performance in vinyl is being led by new releases by Lana Del Rey, Lewis Capaldi, Gorillaz, Noel Gallagher, Foo Fighters and Boy Genius. Now, I'm pointing that out because that shows that a lot of these sales, vinyl sales, have been driven by a younger demographic. So it's not just older collectors keeping everything buoyant. You know, there are young people going into into that area, arena, record shop, or whatever it is, live gigs, merch stores, and they're wanting to have a physical product to take home and own and treasure and listen to the music and, you know, be connected to it, because I think it makes such a big difference. What is it? There was something here. It says Lana Del Rey's album moved 28,119 vinyl copies in the first 6 months. But overall, the album was sold 78,000. Now, I reckon in the other tens of thousands there, much of that is CD and streaming. And I still see this in these official figures from the BPI Music Week, that it's good that they're saying that CD sales have stabilised and increased in some quarters. But the whole focus is still very much on vinyl. That's what makes people click on news articles and news items, and I'm sure when what I'm telling you now appears in the mainstream media, they'll only focus on the vinyl. I just think they just will. The other thing that's worth pointing out is that out of the top 10 vinyl selling albums so far in 2023, 2 of them were Dark Side of the Moon and Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. And I think the other thing I'd like to point out, which I think is an interesting stat, is for the first half of 2023, the top 20 albums sold in the UK, 70% of them were catalogue titles. What's a catalogue title? A catalogue title is something that's been out for a while, like Rumours by, you know, Fleetwood Mac or Dark Side of the Moon. And a lot of this comes from streaming. Think about it. We live in such a fantastic age for music in many ways. It might not be the best time to be alive with the troubles in the world, but for music, we've never had it so good with the amount of stuff we can go off and listen to. Think about it. When I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, I got into Mott the Hoople as a good example. Late in the 70s, really. So early 80s. I bought Ian Hunter's The Never Alone with the Schizophrenic, and then I wanted to get into Mott the Hoople. Those albums were unavailable. They were out of print. Mott the Hoople had disbanded. They were gone. Their albums were very, very hard to find. You could get a best of the greatest hits, but finding the older albums, they weren't there. So that was the way it was then. So when people look back at the glory days, you have to remember that a lot of things went out of print. Now, in 2023, everything is literally available to stream or buy. I mean, from Mott the Hoople, you can buy all of their albums on vinyl. They're all available on CD. There are box sets and stuff. So this is a fantastic time. So a lot of younger people, you know, they read an interview with Lewis Capaldi, and he talks about who he's influenced by or what he's listened to, what his playlist. They go off and listen to that, and then that takes you down a rabbit hole to who influenced them, and that's fantastic. So discovery now is just amazing, and this is the same for new heavy metal bands or funk or rock or jazz. You can just go off and find everything, but because of that, the charts are a weird country, because it means that obviously people start to see things on Stranger Things, whether it's Running Over the Hell by Kate Bush, they start streaming it, and all of a sudden there's a hit single out of nowhere. So it is an interesting time we're living. But physical sales are safe. And as I said at the very start of this video, I love both. I've just got Vintage Trouble on CD, and you saw recently Government Mule on vinyl. So I just do whatever takes my fancy and whatever I would like to do at that time. So thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and thank you for subscribing and supporting Now Spinning Magazine. It really is a wonderful thing, and I really, really appreciate it. You can become a patron or join via YouTube. Check out the website. Pop over and have a look at the Facebook group as well. But take care, everybody. Keep spinning those discs. Stay safe, and I shall see you very, very soon.